Welcome back to another magical, majestic morning from the Cloud Forest Mountains in Panama at the foot of a volcano called Baru, from the peak of which you can see both oceans. There's been people here for a long time. Very interesting. I have beat the drum on commitment to honesty and valor across many channels for a long time because it is an ultimate truth. In fact, it's the only one you really need. And I, having the worst, most deceitful, most dishonest, most disgusting parent, ran the other direction against all odds, came into the cowboy culture where people, I remember, would pull me aside at 13 and tell me the things I would need to hear. And then lo and behold, as I got older and progressed in that environment, I had been telling a lot of wisdom to a lot of young Jedi that they needed to hear. And I cared about them and I wanted to see them fly, and still do, higher than I've ever seen any eagle fly before. And when they do, I'm gonna be like, yeah. Unfortunately, and this comes with the territory for being that eagle, most people are not going to be cognated like me. They're going to be haters. They're going to maybe smile on the outside but be incredibly false. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You have to be authentic first, which means you have to be able to step out of cool culture and become yourself. How are you going to do that without the vision quest? You alone in nature. Cheetah doesn't run its fastest connected to another cheetah. You're not going to get your ultimate inner abilities, intuition, etc., connected to another human. Eagle's not going to fly as high as it can, connected to another eagle. There's a solo mission we need you to do before you come back and join up with the crew. Because then you're going to really be an asset and not a liability. There is a quiet power in radical honesty. The person who commits themselves completely to the truth no longer wastes energy protecting lies, managing appearances, or remembering conflict stories. Fear begins to lose its grip because there is nothing left to hide. Every conversation becomes simpler, every decision becomes clearer, and every challenge becomes an opportunity to stand on solid ground. All challenges, opportunities to build strength and character, intelligence, dexterity, reflex with discernment, dynamics. We're talking about the James Bond lifestyle for real. You can do it. Fear, possibility, whatever really fancies you, you can do it. You have to believe in yourself, right? Every conversation becomes simpler, every decision becomes clearer, and every challenge becomes an opportunity to stand on solid ground. Truth creates consistency, and consistency builds a reputation that no amount of charisma or manipulation can imitate. Now, it doesn't matter about reputation, though. It matters about real, genuine experience. And a real, genuine Jedi is having 10 times the experience. And the smallest version out here, in contrast, real quick, will lie to themselves, have an awful experience, but lie to themselves that it's great and talk negatively or downly about this Jedi type prototype in a small, jealous-minded, horrid state that you never want to get trapped in. And so many people are. And that's exactly what the voodoo wants to do to all of you, right? Commitment to honesty and truth. The samurais, one of the most wise, intelligent, effective groups of people ever. Innovative intelligence of a whole nother level. They would say all decisions must be made within 7 breaths. If you can't make the decision in 7 breaths, it's no longer a decision. You're just at war with your own self about what you already know you need to do. Because you'll know what it is that you need to do, but then you'll talk yourself out of it outside of those 7 breaths, right? So when it's time to get in that cold shower, just walk into the bathroom, flip the thing, throw the clothes on the ground into the thing. You're doing it. You stand there. You stand there longer. You stand there longer. You're out. You don't go through the bathroom door if you're on the angelic committee without doing the cultural exercise of paying the toilet tax. See, we have a cyclic iron sharpens iron. You are open for Charlie horse season. Should you pass the bathroom door without doing a 2-minute stretch and focus routine with these things called the Chinese drums that align your spine, your hips, your knees, your ankles, so that you can continue to run miles and miles and miles out into the jungle with us every time. And you're not just a broken, crappy, complaining liability like the majority of people will be now in this environment, or you have no idea. You train. And you can see at Brandon Angel Fitness on Instagram. This AngelicEdge channel means a lot to me. I've been putting a lot of practice in just to make this focus on getting our wings in stage 2 channel that's not denominational, that is not really semantic. It's really, we can just say as a disclaimer before all of it that none of these mouth sounds begin to describe any of this amazing dynamic insanity that is going on all around of us. You know what I mean? There is, once you start to understand it and cognate it and adapt to nature to really upgrade your cognition, understand everything better, you start to look at what a lot of what we're doing now as human beings with a how did we even, with a recognition, with an awareness that there is a steering that's happening here by extremely debaucherous human beings that naturally got that way because they've had trillions and trillions of dollars and they're just spoiled rats now. And we continue to glorify these mouth sounders that have absolutely no merit. And that's on us. That's on us. You know what I mean? If I set up a cup and ball game and you play it, I don't know. So if I print a bunch of money and you use it, and I just keep printing most of it for me, and I become so sick, and my grandkids have so sick, and you got a bunch of grandkids like playing risk games for real with people dying, or I don't know what the fuck to make sense of this whole. Anyway, let's not get distracted from the inner, most important work, because if there's no levers for us to pull in any of this kind of stuff, we shouldn't be focusing on it. It's distracting us from the insane levers we have to pull now. And by pulling those levers now, who knows what levers will be in front of us in the future. But if you're gonna need to believe that could be any kind of infinite transformation. And I would say for sure, you're gonna, above the natural power that was dispensed by something above, because none of this could have set itself in motion, and no two things either could have set themselves in motion, just clicking together. That wouldn't be it either. It would definitely be insane. Once you start to pay attention to nature, you start to see it is an insane, the dynamic situation. Fearlessness is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that truth matters more than comfort. The individual who refuses to compromise their integrity becomes extraordinarily dependable. I'm thinking of a Sean Ryan Ripkicher thing where he says, the greatest sin is the refusal to mature. The refusal to grow. It's so funny when I heard that after we started making this VoodooBreaker.com video game dynamic character input template. And I'm like, man, you know what? The most important score of this whole thing should be the growth rate of the character. Because one person, because you could spend a whole lifetime growing there's, like my mother, no, bird brain self-indulging lie on top of it. Can't, nothing honorable about this thing at all, right? and that is, hey, please listen to me when I tell you that prototype of person is a whirlwind black hole. They are costing everyone around them significantly, and certain people are really getting it, right? And they will have you thinking those certain people are bad people or something like that. They're some sort of victim of them to shield them from their aggression being discovered. It's very confusing. When people spend all their talent points on manipulation, I feel for their soul. I feel for them. And thank you for doing that, because you have presented us the recorded, dynamic, hardcore challenges to overcome and be the greatest prototype stepping out of that most hardcore challenge. And remember, the prototypes of coming out of hardcore challenge are you're going to be an abuser yourself and repeat the process. I got stepped on, I'm stepping on everybody. You're going to be like Elizabeth Smart and say, I cannot deal with this. I can't look at my family members. I don't just cut this out of my head, right? Or you're going to be someone like the Alaskan Avenger, who is, nature knows, who is, no one's stepping on anyone in this way ever again if it's around me. And that's what we need. And I would venture to believe that is that's the dream catcher right there, that's what we're looking for. You know what I mean? If I'm God, that's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? And that is not built overnight. Not to the degree, this is a very butterfly-like transformation. Should you take on all, and here's the secret, should you take on all challenges in that 7 breaths, no hesitation. And that's what it's considered. Once you pass 7 breaths, you've hesitated. You lose. You lose. You need to be like, all right, what's the truth? What is this? Bang. Next. Bang. Next. That will command the most respect. That is what God needs of us. That is what's going to get you your wings in stage 2. You take the challenge on, head on, as it comes, decisively. Now, remember, number 1, we are in control of our emotions. The samurai, the stoic, every incredibly impactful, impressive, successful, and impressive is the thing you want to look for. If they're constantly impressing you, if they're constantly letting you down, if they're constantly deceiving you, if you can look back and say, wow, those were all false promises, that was all bullshit, this adult or whatever person would have known. Anyway, sorry, that might not have played it. But the most honesty, that is why honesty and courage can make someone the most valuable person in any room. That's been my secret. Again, I was very lucky. I came into some cowboy cats at a very young age. They knew I was in a hard way, so they made sure to tell me, and they were products of their environment, which was very cowboy and care about each other. We were surviving together. So we were actually looking out for people. I can't tell you how excellent of a feeling that is. Most of these people are gone now. I'm very lucky and very blessed to be here. Like I said, I think it had calling on to Jesus at a young age and renewing that insane significantly throughout my life. Definitely at the end of this video and every video I've made, we will renew it. I will renew it. That Okay, so and I am an MVP everywhere I go. Look, you don't wanna deal with most people. Most people will bring you down and try to get from you and take something from you and mess you up and trip you up and distract you from what you could really do if you had the strength and fortitude to set boundaries and know how to move and know how to stay focused and know how to and stick to honest truth, people. That's the honest truth of life navigation, Jedi style, James Bond lifestyle for life, dude. You know, you will never. I could tell people some of the stuff I pulled off. No point in telling stories. Let's get back to the importance, because a person relentlessly committed to the truth becomes almost impossible to replace, because their value comes from their character. You will get the worst of haters once you become this. The people who know they could have done the same thing if they just would have had the same principles and discipline that you did, they're gonna hate you. They're gonna want to kill you. They're gonna want to shoot you in the neck because you speak the truth, and they just every time their mouth is open, it's these lies coming out. They can't stop it. Henry Rollins Band song Liar. Another song I want to tell you about by a very prophetic band, Body Count, with Ice-T as the singer. Way back in the day, they made a track called Endgame. This band has so many prophetic tracks, it's unreal. But that track is prophetic. Trust me. And this is why nutritionaldiversity.com. This is why we need to be. Okay, there is a force in the jungle. There is a force in human beings. These aerodynamic mastermen are going to need this force whenever they get to their other planets, whatever ones. You know what I mean? So, what's up? Right? Like, nutritionaldiversity.com. Start with your inner force. Concentrate on yourself now so that you can join up with this Jedi crew and do amazing things, and we will have a spot for you. My exact alternative agriculture outfit of athletes and diet enthusiasts, our worldwide cooking club. But a person who is relentlessly committed to the truth becomes almost impossible to replace, because their value comes from their character. They are not trying to become someone else or copy another path. They become the clearest expression of who they were created to be, bringing a perspective, conviction, and reliability that no one else on earth can duplicate. That kind of person is irreplaceable, not because they were perfect, but because no one else can fulfill the unique role that only they can occupy. And it's there. It's there for you. Most people will miss it. Most people will never get to their destiny because they won't tell the truth, and they won't, or they'll be working with a lie. They'll be using the wrong ingredients. They'll be using false information that was invented or fudged by an evil, scheming, deceiving liar, and they're never going to tell you what they are. You know, we're seeing this child abuse epidemic and all these predators going to film them. They're never going to admit it. I saw a guy, they caught him touching him. He started touching himself right in front of it was, and then he was like, no, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't going to do it. Look what you just said. You wanted to put your, this in. They never, you know what I mean? So, you can get, and if they've duped you for years and years and years, oh man, I've been duped for years and years and years. I hate those, but like, how could you possibly be okay with that? I tell you what, you'll be duped for years and years and years more. And I see so many people just stuck in that worm can, crawling, you've got to be honest and honorable, that's it. And then you gotta find an honest and honorable person. And if you've been honest and honorable for a year, completely, then you deserve that person, and they deserve you too. And the Winners Club is the first hour in the gym. I don't care which one, boxing, jiu-jitsu, weights, track, the track field. You get over there, the first hour they open those gates or doors, and you murder for 2 hours. Murder. And then you feed yourself and rest or whatever so you can do it again tomorrow. It's all centered around that. And then 20, 30 days later, but I promise you, you're gonna have your mentor. You're gonna have your partner in crime. And select well. This is just a game of best selection. Remember that. You select the wrong teammate that's gonna sell you out to the gambling mafia or whatever dumb shit, and then, okay, you can't win. And it was your fault. Everything's your fault. It's all our fault now, right? We've got to be front-ended. We got to be transparent ourselves. We got to deserve transparency. We got to have a detector, and we got to test. You have to test. You're not going to get results or testimony without a test. That's why we came here. Your true colors are coming out. I just want to plead with everybody here. We've got some amazing stuff. Please like, subscribe, and share. And let's just buckle down and make that commitment right now. We're honestly going to not tell any more lies at all to ourselves, to anyone else, definitely not to above. Right now, we're not going to pass that bathroom door to use the restroom without doing our pee, our toilet text, our 2 minutes of burpees. I will give you the Chinese drums right now. I've given them a few times before, but let's go. Right? Shoulder width apart, feet shoulder width apart, arms out, hit the back of the liver. You just pick your 6 o'clock point. Oh, look at that little red robin in my 6. Hit that acupuncture congestion point right here. Keep all that nice and tough and open and strong. The back of the liver. No, but really what you're doing, as if a pole is driven through the top of your head and from the crease of your legs. You will just do this. For right now, do 2 minutes of that and your least flexible area, stretch that for a minute, do 3 minutes. Every single time, this cyclic thing, spinal alignment, after a couple days, you'll really start to feel it. Right, and these are just little basic boo-boo baby steps of the angelic culture that we are responsible to cultivate, no doubt about it, in the face of all this evil, ridiculous shit. And there's plenty of people pointing out the problems, you know? If you don't have a solution, that's crime, where I came from, you know? And that's illegal. And just gossiping shit, too. That's illegal. You know what I mean? You're gonna sit there and make up fake stories about someone. You are the worst piece of fucking society. You should be stomped out like a cockroach. You know what I mean? And if we had a culture like that, guess what? We wouldn't have all these child abuse hunters. We wouldn't have all these sick and political. We wouldn't have, you know what I mean? Because we'd have cowboys. Real ones. Because we'd have Indians. Whatever mouth sound you want to give it. People with character. Hua. So let's get that back into culture. And there's no way that's going to happen without the biggest hand in the game. So let's just go ahead and do that real fast. And yes, I know I have stuff all over my skin. There's a couple years of videos on me right now. It's always there. Welcome. I invite you down to the jungle. And you will not get that issue that I have, but I invite you down here. You can train your brains, and you can train your body, and you can train your soul with some people who have done this, been through some hard times. If you're experiencing child loss and you're a great guy, listen, on the other side of this, you're a Jedi. If you can do the right thing and tell the truth, you know, I saw the worst lies in the world my whole life, and just the worst use of children, just abuse of the system. And in the face of all that, I said, I'm gonna become the most honest, valiant fucking person. And that led to a pretty crazy, amazing, one-of-a-kind story. And I don't think, and I would not have gotten it through any other means except that insane commitment to the truth. Really, it would have been a lesser experience. I can see that now. Dear Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we love you, we love you for this beautiful experience. And we pray today in the name of Jesus Christ, thy beautiful Son, that we can forge the new culture, make this new incredible harmonious cognition in light of you, oh Lord. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we love you, we love you. In that beautiful name of that beautiful Son, Jesus Christ. Who, all right, guys, have an incredibly awesome, productive flow state to flow state, productive with the cycles implemented. And we'll put more layers to this, right, as time goes on. Go to nutritionaldiversity.com. There is a AI, yes, nutritionaldiversity.com. There's an AI thing. It takes 20 seconds to fill it out. It will give you a biodynamic reference key workout plan. You can start to look at biodynamics down, it's a big deal. The moon controls the tides. It controls a lot of stuff. Down here, you'll break your machete if you're cutting bamboo on the wrong lunar day, right? Because everything's 85% water, and you need to make sure that it's the right lunar portion when you're doing a whole bunch of different things. So you can getting into the idea, and you can get some seriously dynamic health stuff started for free. All right, so do that, and I wish you the best. Much love.